Peace. I just wanted to take a moment and build briefly about individuality as opposed to collectivism. And what inspired me to put this video up is I attended a Black Student Union rally yesterday at Niagara University that a lot of the NU students attended, and it was in response to the social injustices and racial inequality that's going on that campus, that a lot of the administration and faculty have been silent about when it comes to resolving those grievances from the students of color and white students that are having an issue with in terms of just the lack of diversity in the administrative and the faculty, the lack of a Black Studies program at Niagara University, as well as the lack of follow through with the mission statement of the university to work in conjunction with the neighboring community or the city of Niagara Falls. So Black Student Union put those demands down. We had a protest rally to bring awareness to the other parts of the student body and faculty of what was going on. So key members of the Black Student Union sat down with the president of the university, and he contractually committed himself to resolving those grievances and following through with making sure that those three demands are going to be met. So that was a good step in the right direction, and we're going to stay on the university as well as administrative body to make sure that those demands are going to be met. And the reason why I wanted to talk about individuality versus collectivism is because at this rally, and this is something that I've been seeing just around the country in general with a lot of the different protests and rallies that I've been covering, is I've often seen a lacking in Black male representation. I've been seeing a lot of women of color standing in the forefront, doing a lot of the coordinating and organizing. And then, I also understand that women in particular dominate just the service and the volunteerism and the human health services industry. But when it comes to these instances of racial inequality and social injustices, there is a disproportionate amount of women who are participating in these events as opposed to Black men. And that's one of the things that I also saw on the campus yesterday at Niagara University, that the Black men or males that represent a part of that student body in numbers were not present or participating. There were more white men there in support and showing solidarity with the Black Student Union and members of the Niagara University student body who had issues with these grievances. But you just didn't see many Black men and males there, especially the ones who are there on scholarship that are part of the athletic department. So what I wanted to talk about is the difference between individuality and collectivism. When a person is thinking collectively, they have the capacity to feel and experience much more beyond their own individual and personal self. When a person's an individual, they're going to have limited experiences, and their feelings are going to be limited to what they've only personally experienced. So you can have a person that thinks like an individual that can go 30 years that's never been pulled over by the cops. So in terms of police brutality, that shit is foreign to them. They don't really identify with that. So if you gave them an opportunity to talk about their own individual personal experiences, you're not necessarily going to hear them identifying with the group because they're not thinking collectively. What you're going to hear from them is, oh, no, I never got pulled over by the cops. I'm good. I whatever they talking about, I don't really know because, my experience has been good. Or if you stick the microphone down the mouth of some celebrity and ask them what do they think about Trayvon Martin or Mike Brown or Eric Gardner or, any of these people who were murdered in cold blood by law enforcement here in America, they may sit there and say something like, well, I live in a neighborhood with great cops, and that's never been a problem with me. And I think that people overreacting and, this, that, and the third. That is because these individuals are defining their world based upon their own personal experience, which means their feelings and experiences are limited to their own reality. When a person thinks collectively, that means they're identifying with something greater than their own individual or personal self. So a person that is thinking collectively can feel what's going on in their family because they understand and they feel and they have experienced some of the things that's going on with their family members. A person that's thinking collectively can feel and experience what's going on in their community because that is a part of them. If they're part of an organization or a group, they can feel and experience what their group members are going through. So I use the word members because it is an appendage. It's a part of them. When you look at people who can identify with what's going on with black people throughout the diaspora, that's all over the world, they can feel and experience the things that people are going through because they identify with the group. So I'm just saying all of this to say, when you see these kind of individual or personal narratives come up, don't be discouraged because these people are in the minority. And oftentimes the media or journalists use individuals like this to appear to be the voice of the group, knowing good and well that these people don't identify with the group. Whether that is an organization, whether that is a group of people, whether that is a community, or whether that's just certain family members. And that is a strategy used by the media or journalists to divide and conquer and to discourage people that are striving to bring awareness to some of the social injustices and inequalities that's going on with that family, with that community, with that organization, and with those people. So I will, this was inspiring, it was empowering, it was educating, and gave those of you a little bit of insight into some of those dynamics when it comes to individuality and collectivism. When you see a person talking like that, not only does it show their limited capacity to feel for others and to experience life, but it also tells you about their vulnerability to fall victim to the same exact things that the group is suffering from. Especially, at least if the group is going through something, they have a network and a repository of resources to strive to solve those problems. But this same person that will individually be eventually pulled over by a cop or is going to individually experience racial inequalities and social injustices, they only got they self as a resource to address and to handle that. So, they want to put themselves out there like that and talk about how they're individually, good, then let them be good then. Peace.